I live in a shack. I poop in an outhouse. I eat what I kill. Let the grid go down, Lord. I don't need it.
What's going on, everyone? It's a great white stoat coming at you from the great white north, making a video response to SouthernNordic and his video on willpower. It's a very powerful video. It's a good subject too, because willpower is not only just a mental muscle that has to be exercised just like a bicep against vice. It's also a mental muscle that has to be exercised against things and actions that are detrimental to the mind, body, and spirit. And I've talked about this before, how modern society and convenience has made a lot of men, not all of them, but many, lest anyone listening is starting to get their feelings hurt or egos bruised. It's made many soft and pliable to the system. And they've lost their friendship not only with violence, but with the struggle. And up here in Alaska, the struggle is very real. Modern man will almost always go out there to punch a clock, either for someone else or maybe he has his own business, and he'll bring home the bacon. And because there's an account and money is being paid, electricity comes on with the flip of a switch, water comes on with an opening of a tap, and with the adjustment of a thermostat, comfort is achieved. But when you live in a rural environment, modern convenience does not exist. Case in point, I have to chop wood almost every single day. And then I have to go further with that chopping to produce kindling so I can start fires. And then throughout the night, I have to tend that fire so that my children and my wife are comfortable and they're not having to wake up because it's cold. And so while modern man is able to get 8 hours of sleep, maybe more, I wake up throughout the night to tend that fire, because you don't want to let the fire go out, because then it's going to take that much more effort to restart the fire and to build the heat back up. But it's not just the struggle of having to have some sort of comfort. Modern man has lost the struggle to say no. And we saw that very much so during the pandemic, because many said yes to the jab. Because willpower is it's not just saying no, it's setting up very real boundaries, and you need to start saying no to the small things so that you can say no to the big things. And many people took the poison. And if you didn't take the poison, you should reflect on how much money was spent on that campaign of fear, that marketing of fear. How much propaganda was put forth on the radio, the internet, and the TV to implore you, to scare you, to shame you, to guilt you into getting the poisonous jab. And if you didn't, you should congratulate yourself, because that one was very, very hard, especially when you have fellow peasants and serfs trying to hold your feet to the fire as well. But I've also witnessed modern man not wanting the struggle with regards to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I've talked about this before, how oftentimes we would see people come in and they might last 3 months, maybe 6 months, and then you wouldn't see them again. because the reality of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that the struggle is real. On the mat, the struggle is very real, and soft modern man and his ego oftentimes are unable to take that struggle, because it's a very real thing to knowingly get on the mat and to knowingly engage in unarmed hand-to-hand combat with someone that is bigger than you, stronger than you, and more skilled. And you know going into this that you're going to lose. And modern man, and women for that matter, they were not able to take that struggle. They weren't able to go the distance knowing that, okay, I'm going to have to go up against this brown belt that has years of experience on me, has 4 inches of height advantage on me, and outweighs me by 50 pounds. And it doesn't matter how good I am, I'm going to lose. And the mentality at that point, if you're a friend to the struggle, is that, okay, let's set up some boundaries here, and that I'm not going to get tapped more than 3 times, or I'm not going to let him take my back, or I'm not going to let him get an ankle lock on me. You start putting up some very real boundaries and goals to work towards. And there is a patch on our kimono that was put there on all of the gis by the founder of Guerrilla Jiu-Jitsu, Dave Camarillo. And it's a simple slogan: crave the battle. All too often, modern man no longer craves the battle, outside of maybe some narcissistic abuse and trying to bruise egos through insults and lobbing insults from afar via a keyboard. No, what you see in modern man is that they will try to take the easier way out and just to project toughness through the way that they dress, their vocabulary, the way that they present themselves, with the way they wear their facial hair, the clothing types, the use of garish tattoos and whatnots, and piercings, and the inability to crack a smile. Because you can tell right away those men are very uneasy with themselves. Whereas when you're on the jiu-jitsu match and you're side by side and rubbing shoulders with trained killers, there's a general ease that you witness about them. They're easygoing. They can crack jokes. They can smile. They do not have any presumptuous notion about women. You don't hear much talk on the jiu-jitsu mats about MGTOW or incel behavior. And so I think that going forward, craving the battle, enduring struggle, putting up boundaries and saying no to the small things so that you can get to the big no when it's time is a very important thing in a man's life. And sometimes removing yourself from modern society is a way to really put that in the forefront. So those are my thoughts. Kind of incoherent. It's the end of the day. It's a little cold out here. I'm going to go in, read a book to my kid, then I'm going to retire for the night. I hope you're aware, are well, Southern Nordic, and I hope we get to do a live stream soon. Take care, everyone.
Having said as clearly as possible that the anti-vax people seem to be the winners, I want you to hear that clearly. The anti-vax people appear to be the winners. The anti-vaxxers clearly are the winners at this point, and I think it'll probably stay that way. And I don't want to put any shade on that whatsoever. They came out the best. They have the winning position. The unvaccinated have a current advantage because they feel better. The thing they're not worrying about is what I have to worry about, which is, I wonder if that vaccination 5 years from now, because really the anti-vaxxers, I think, were really just distrustful of big companies and big government. That's never wrong. It's never wrong to distrust government. It's never wrong to distrust big companies, right? So if you just took the position, let's just distrust everything the government did, well, you won. You won. You won completely. I did not end up in the right place. Agree? You would all agree with that, right? I did not end up in the right place. The right place would be natural immunity, no vaccination. You should take victory, and I should take defeat. We can agree on that, right? That my position is now the weakest, and your position has gone from the weakest to the strongest, and that we can just say that's true. The people who didn't get vaxxed are absolutely in the winning position. You win. You win. You are the winners. You are the winners. All right, let me say that part with no ambiguity. You won. You won. All of my fancy analytics got me to a bad place. All of your heuristics, don't trust these guys, it's obvious, totally worked.
The battle is being fought. One family, one physician, one health center. That's why we're doing as well as we are. We're talking about the minority and strategies against the minority. So I have the solution. Every study published in the last 5 years, when you look at vaccine refusers, I'm not talking about, well, hesitants, most of them we can talk into coming to terms, but refusers. We'll just get rid of all the whites in the United States because Houston is the most diverse city in the entire United States. There's 7 Asian languages spoken in that city. I've been a minority for more than 20 years in the city of Houston. The majority is, we call Hispanic. That is not a race or an ethnicity, that is a political designation. But a lot of them are from Central, South America, Mexico. Guess who wants to get vaccinated the most? Immigrants.